What's up? This is Wilshocker on a mission to shock the world with fantastic content. And I've got more Final Fantasy XIV. Probably gonna stay on this game for a while. You know how it is. This game is very long. Okay, let's see. Oh, yes, now I remember. Nanamo trying to help the refugees. Profit. The thought never even crossed my mind. But standing about lamenting my naivety will not do anyone any good. I shall consider my lesson learned and press on. Are you perchance acquainted with any successful merchants? If my attempted philanthropy is obliged to reap a profit, it would seem wise to consult someone with a knack for business. Do I? Oh, right. Hancock. Eager though I am to visit those shores, I have not the leisure for a lengthy sea voyage. Now, assuming you travel as adventurers I want to do, I shall await your report by the Etherite in Ulda. A fair journey to you, well, and a swift one, if you please. Why is nobody else able to teleport in this damn story? Nobody else can teleport, just the Hero of Light. Everybody else gets teleportation sickness. Well, to what do I owe the pleasure? Or are you here on business? I beg your pardon. Her Grace the Sultana would have my opinion on how to best invest the wealth of Ulda. My dear Will, I have you to thank for this. Recognition, I am sure. Oh, I have you to thank for this recognition, I am sure. And I am flattered that you came to me. Truly flattered. But why settle for a lowly apprentice when you could have the master? Upon matters of profit, there is no living soul better qualified to advise Her Grace than Chairman Lolorito, a man whose morning excursions are said to fill his garderobe with gold. I should be happy to arrange a meeting for you. Say at the Scions' former headquarters in Thanalan, the Waking Sands would seem a suitably neutral venue for negotiations, don't you think? Very well, Will, and may your dealings prove fruitful. Another trip to the Waking Sands? Golly. No wonder they gave us 100 of these things. Welcome back, Will. Did your merchant friend have any useful advice to share? With Lolorito? And you agreed to this? I am aware of his standing in the field of business, but I had hoped to keep the monetarists at arm's length, and him in particular. Nay, I cannot live in fear of the man. I must learn how to treat with him if I am to rule Udon effectively. Very well. I will meet with Lolorito. Let us go on ahead to the Waking Sands and prepare for his coming. Whoa! They teleported me there. So this is where the Scions first congregated. I have heard many tales, but never had the occasion to visit. To work then. The hour of the meeting draws near, and I want to gather my thoughts. Pray see to it that we have the appointed room to ourselves.
A personal summons from the Scions. This must be important business indeed. Though, if it concerns anything so underhand as an assassination, I fear I can be of little help.
Oh yeah, sure you could. Yeah. No, definitely. No, I wouldn't think to ask you about assassination at all. Not at all, really.
You have made your point. 'Tis indeed unsettling to find oneself seated across from an impassive mask. There, would this better please your grace? Or should I address you as Lady Lilira? Hmm?
Nay, the deception has served its purpose. I am glad to see you found amusement in my little jest, Lord Lolorito, but shall we proceed to the business at hand?
By all means. I must say I am most eager to hear your proposal.
Simply put, I would aid the refugees camped in Thanalan in their efforts to return to Alamigo. The reparations you paid in the wake of your earlier misdemeanors will be used to fund the endeavor, together with the fortune seized from the late Teleji Adeleji's estate. But this plan is not intended to benefit the displaced alone. I would make of this an investment which shall enrich Uldar and Alamigo both. And who better to consult on matters of profit than the wealthiest man in all of Thanalan? I beseech you then, Lord Lolorito, share with us your mercantile wisdom.
Ah, 'twould seem your grace has matured beyond acts of earnest yet misplaced charity. Pray tell me more. To summarize, in return for facilitating the repatriation of refugees and assisting in the establishment of new industry in Alamigo, you ask that a proportion of all subsequent profits be promised to Uldar. Huh, I am impressed, Your Grace. 'Tis an elegant solution, albeit one lacking certain crucial details, specifically which industry and where.
How swiftly you identified the weakness in my plan, just as I knew you would. Your travels have taken you across the length and breadth of Gir Abania, and you know the land far better than I. Which of the settlements you visited would best provide a home for our refugees? Which has the greatest potential to flourish, given the appropriate investment?
Oh no. I don't know. What the heck?
desolate little village on the shore of Loch Seld. I know the Saltry and its products well. The Imperial invasion brought an end to their more widespread distribution, much to the dismay of many a wealthy gourmand, myself included. Salt has ever been a transformative ingredient, and in this instance, I dare say, it could transform a modicum of effort into a mountain of gil.
The local citizens will need to be consulted, of course, but I trust the East Aldenar Trading Company can be relied upon to provide its assistance in negotiating a mutually beneficial arrangement.
Naturally, Your Grace. I shall dispatch representatives well versed in the extraction of this white gold and wring every last ounce of profit from its production. The Loch's bounty will contribute to Alamigo's enrichment, whilst easing the burden on the bull's aching shoulders, just as Your Grace desired.
A deal is struck then.
I fear it will be many years before I feel comfortable taking part in such negotiations, but I should not complain. We have piqued Lolorito's interest and secured his invaluable expertise. Thank you, Will. I could have not done it without you. Da 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 da. Our course is decided. I shall return to the palace and have my ministers begin work on implementing the particulars of the plan. If I could prevail upon you one more time, Will, I would ask that you convey the details of the negotiations to Commander Hext on your return to Alamigo. Alright, but before that, my thanks again. Together we have laid the groundwork for an endeavor which promises to benefit both the peoples of Alamiga and Ul'dah both. Adventurer in need. Will, you're back. What did Donamo... Oh, sorry. Are you allowed to talk about your audience with the Sultana? So Ralban says he's going to return to Ul'dah, but she isn't sure he wants to. And tell us something we don't know. But I'm pleased to hear she's committed to helping our refugees come home. And this plan to revitalize the Saltry does make a lot of sense. Quite how you convinced her to seek Lolorito's help is another question. After all this has happened, he's the last person I would expect to turn for advice. Temple of the Fist. Woohoo! I love dungeons. Dang, I did not do well. Healing 0. Cute. Thanks, Will. But just as he told me, the wave king went down like a sack of potatoes. Let's find something else. Alright, before that, I'm gonna use the bathroom, get some coffee, so I'll be back. Bear with me. right. Let's see here. 60 views on TikTok. Not bad, not bad, not bad. I think I can handle the yabbies now, so should we try something different? What else is out there? Talk about filler content. At least this is showing off the Warrior of Light's expertise, right? Like, he knows what he's doing. He's been fighting these things for years. It's not easy fighting with the Liberator of Alamigo watching your every move, but I got the job done. Thanks for the advice, Will. I feel a lot better prepared for my patrols now. Any road, we should head back to the Saltery before Granddad starts to worry. I sniffed into pieces and fed into a Yabi's hatchlings. Oh, to worry, I've been snipped into pieces and fed to a Yabi's hatchlings. Got it. Transforming cube mount. I love it. A trophy to symbolize my commitment to grinding. Thought to myself, after a bit of instruction from Will here, like, once I've shared what I've learned with the others, we should have no trouble keeping the shoreline clear. Good lad, a fine young man you've become, Wilshocker, a fine young man indeed. Too often of late I hear tales of folk over in the city drunk on victory and hungry for revenge, their heads stuck firmly in the past. But we need to set our sights on the future, and things which will improve our lot. Things like getting the Saltery ready to welcome our long-lost countrymen. It seems Wilshocker has the Saltery securely well in hand. I, meanwhile, have discussed the next steps with Master Watt and completed my inspection of the site. With a little work, the vacant buildings here could be made into very presentable dwellings. Message from General Alden. Apologies for the interruption, sir, but the General would speak with you at your earliest convenience. Do not feel obliged to wait around on my account. I will remain here to hammer out the finer details with Watt and act as an intermediary with our business partners in Ul'dah. You should go. General Alden asked that you wait for him by the main gate in the Alamigan Quarter. My apologies again, sir. Very well. Moving right on. Let's get back to this next NPC. Where does it go? Oh, here it is.
Apologies for the wait.
Apologies for the wait.
People are screaming for the butcher's blood again. No sooner have we broken up one mob than another forms. Thankfully, all have been amenable to reason, thus far.
Thus far?
But it is no concern of yours. We must speak of the men Arenvald and his comrades apprehended in the peaks.
Who?
By their uniforms, the captives were first judged to be Imperial troops. But after further investigation, their true identities came to light. I dare say you remember Yuyuhasi and Laurentius,
Nope.
the fugitives who conspired with Captain Ilberd in the Crystal Brave's betrayal.
Okay.
Aye, well, it would seem they followed him all the way to the wall. It was they who orchestrated the slaughter of the resistance fighters prior to the Griffin's infernal ritual.
Jeez.
Were it in your hands...
How would I punish them? Death.
Hear, hear. There is no more fitting sentence for the perpetrators of such a massacre, and that is but one of their crimes. In any event, I thank you for your honesty. When the time comes for the Alliance to pass judgment, I'll see that your opinion is heard. Well, that concludes our business here. But there is more I would say. Walk with me.
Walk with me. Walk with me. Walk with me.
I bear a share of the blame for Ilberd's atrocities. Had I openly supported the cause of Alamegan liberation, he might not have felt driven to do what he did.
That's a good point. Yeah, if you had been more earnest about supporting Alamigo with the forces of Ul'dah, then none of this would have happened. Well, none of what the Crystal Braves did would have happened.
Things could have been different, and I'm sorry they aren't.
That's okay. We took care of it in the end, didn't we?
But even after all that has happened, my homeland is free. With the Scions and the Alliance at their side, my countrymen have reclaimed what many thought lost forever. Under her new leadership, I have every confidence that Alamigo will emerge from the shadow of the Empire and rise once more to greatness.
That's right. Rise once more to greatness.
My work here is done. Soon I will return to Ul'dah and take my place at the Sultana's side.
Father...
But what about your home? You're gonna leave your home?
I'll not deny there's a part of me that wants to stay.
I'll not deny that there's a part of me that wants to stay.
The same part that contemplated renouncing my rank and joining you as a wandering sellsword.
Ha 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 ha. Mr. Adventurer.
But
I
I
pledged my
blade to Nanamo, and I will not betray that oath.
Is this truly what you want, Father?
It is.
Ever has my sword been hers to command, and ever shall it remain. That's sweet. That's nice. He is a loyal soldier.
Thank you for lending an ear. When all the rest are clamoring for me to stay, I trust you'll send me on my way.
Woohoo! Go, Ralban. Be the good soldier that you are. We love it. We love you, Ralban. EX. Ralban EX. That took longer than I intended, but at least you know where I stand. Now that's settled. Orenwald, what news? We may have a problem, sir. A group of Entente have arrived at the main gates, and I don't mean the Vera. These are Kalyana, the ones that summoned the Primal. They're insisting that they be allowed to attend the council. Lise is trying to reason with them, but she may need help.
An invitation was extended to all of the native beast tribes, but we assumed the Kalyana would refuse it out of hand.
We had best go and see for ourselves. Pippin, take command of our forces and be ready for battle. Well, you've dealt with these Kalyana before. I'd have you at my side.
Jump on my flying saucer!
It's not a saucer at all. It's a flying cube.
Jump on my flying cube. Flying cube. Will of Roban, good gods, it's good to see you. The Slayer has come.
Oops. Time for that main scenario. I'm gonna watch something while we do the cutscenes and stuff. Watch something on YouTube. Okay, maybe I don't have time to watch YouTube videos. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Da 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 ba. Ba 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 da 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 da. Da 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 da. Be entombed in earth. Oh no! We're gonna be destroyed! Help, Mommy Heidelin! Help us! Here, feel, think. Thy foe is darkness clad in steel. If thou wouldst triumph, thou must look to the light. Titan's essence, torn from the ultimate weapon. No matter, it still harbors the might of other icons. Oh no! Once more, Crystal Bearer, look to the light to vanquish the darkness. Garuda's gone. So this is the strength of the Acon Slayer. Oh no, we're gonna burn! Here comes Mommy Heidelin. How are you doing this?
But the ultimate weapon is all-powerful. Why does my enemy still stand?
Because we're the boss.
Can his strength
Truly be so great.
It is the blessing of light that controls you.
La Brea.
Your foe acts under the protection of the crystal he bears.
So, this is what empowers him.
Beyond mortal limits. If you are to prevail, the hammer of darkness must needs be brought to bear upon the shield of light. And so it shall, for the ultima weapon is host to a power of which you are as yet ignorant.
Speak plainly, Ascian.
The heart of Sabik. It is the weapon's core, an enigma whose surface even the vaunted scholars of ancient Alec failed to scratch. The magic within has lain dormant for eons.
Of what magic do you speak?
A spell without parallel. Ultima. I sought the life force of the primals for no other reason but to quicken the core. For the true power of the Ultima weapon lies within its now beating heart.
La Brea, what have you done?
No more than was necessary for my god to be reborn.
Damn you, Ascian.
The hour is at hand. Behold but a sliver of my god's power. From the deepest pit of the seven hells to the very pinnacle of the heavens, the world shall tremble. Unleash Ultima!
Such devastation! This was not my intention!
Oh, Heidelin. It seems the task of keeping your champion alive has exhausted what strength you had left. Van Belsar, your enemy's shield is broken. The rest I leave to you.
We will speak later, Ascian. But first, I must deal with you. The question of who is mightier remains. Come, adventurer. Let us find the answer together.
Baba. Dang it! I need the bathroom again. I use the bathroom a lot.
Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all the other guys who paid millions of dollars to stand in the front row at Trump's inauguration are out there popping bottles of champagne that cost more than your rent, hoping that you don't notice what they just did. Republicans in the House just passed Trump's big, beautiful bill. If this bill gets signed into law, it will be the greatest transfer of wealth from the poor to the billionaires in one bill in all of U.S. history. It will literally rip healthcare from 14 million people. And it's going to raise the cost of groceries and utilities for you. And why? So the government can hand that money over to billionaires like Elon Musk. Oh, that is the sweet, sweet deal that these billionaire CEOs are getting from bending the knee to Donald Trump. It is sick, and it will raise prices for you, for your family, for your friends, for every other person that Trump promised that he would lower costs for. We need to do everything in our power to stop this thing from passing the Senate. So,
I reckon that the closest we're going to get to a compromise, and we will have people standing guard. I let them keep their swords.
Then we have an agreement. Lead the way to your meeting chamber.
Why do I have the feeling we've welcomed a viper into our midst? Dress up Rauban. This Kalyana elder's intentions seem at odds with what we know of our tribe. But thank you. You believe an understanding can be reached? It is not entirely unheard of, I suppose. Those who followed Saint Shiva eventually sought reconciliation with Ishgard. Whatever the truth, I would take no chances. The guard must be strengthened, ideally with people who know a thing or two about primals. Can we rely on the Scions? I'll round up our comrades then, and send them to the Alamegan quarter. You can go on ahead if you like, Will. My thanks. I will see you in the palace. Do 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 do. I don't know, a whole alliance raid for 7k? I don't know. Probably worth it. Like, dailies are your only way of getting gil in this game. Well, not really, but it's a pretty consistent way to get some gil. Just gotta keep playing. I brought reinforcements. Arnvold told me the arrival of our unexpected guests, and I agreed that it would be prudent to call upon Y'shtola and Thancred as well. One can never be too careful when dealing with the enthralled. I am not familiar with the Kalyana tribe myself, but Alize's report suggested that they shunned contact with other races, despised it in fact, even compared to other Ananta. Indeed, this apparent reversal in attitude is most curious. No one expected a response to our invitation, much less an envoy, and I imagine Lys was forced to make some rather hasty arrangements in order to accommodate them. Speaking of which, how should we deploy ourselves? If the meeting is to be held in the throne room, it would seem wise to have eyes both inside and outside the palace. Y'shtola and I can stand guard without. That leaves the three of you to keep watch over proceedings in the throne room itself. Understood. We should join General Alden inside then. Willie, do you know the rear entrance to the palace? It's on the eastern edge of the city, at the top of the stairs. The guard there should have been instructed to let us pass. Do. Go, flying cube! You're with the Scions, sir. General Alden left orders that you were to be escorted inside, if you follow me.
Thank you all for coming. I am Lys Hext, and I speak for the Resistance. Among you are village elders, refugee leaders, envoys from the Ananta and the Kikern. You've come from every corner of Girabania to help decide the future of Alamigo. But before that, I want to ask you a question.
This guy over here just twitching. He's just casually twitching around.
What was the first thing you noticed when you came in?
Big castle. Tall walls.
For me, it was that empty throne. It has no one to sit on it now. No viceroy, no king. Would any of you like to take their place? Or should someone else sit there? Then let's sit here in a circle, as equals, and I hope, as friends.
Expertly done. Lys has removed monarchy as a choice early in the game, and positioned them to consider a joint government. All things considered, I would say events have got off to a fine start.
And that is Alagana's stance on the matter.
Thank you, Ragenford. Another vote in favor. Next, let's hear from Shanti of the Kalyana. Tell us, how do your people feel about the idea of a republic?
The Ananta wish only that those who dwell within Gir Abania devote themselves to our faith. You shall all worship Sri Lakshmi!
Oh, God.
Lady of bliss, grace us once more with your beauteous visage!
No crystals were allowed through the door!
We can worry about the how of it later. We need to evacuate these people right now, or the Primal will make thralls of them all!
It's up to us.
Damn it! The guards were already turned! Fools!
No, you don't!
The Kalyana would see us all enthralled.
Then they're going to be sorely disappointed. We have the Warrior of Light and Arenvolt to shield us.
Aye, but they can't well defend your guests and attack the Primal, can they? We're stuck on the back foot.
All right, I think I have an idea. Keep these people safe, General. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Whatever she's about, you'd best make it quick. Come then. Who will be next to die on my steel?
I shall free you from your hate!
Damn it all! It's only a matter of time before we miss one.
What of it? Do you want to kill this thing or not? your souls weigh heavy?
That was close.
We did it! We beat her!
What is this? I'm only gonna say this once.
Hi, Athena. How are you?
The Ananta just summoned their primal in the throne room. My friends are fighting her, but they need help. They need someone with the Echo, and by the gods, I wish I had it, but I don't. I told you before that you still had time, but things have changed. I need your answer now.
I'm doing well, just playing this game. Do you play Final Fantasy?
You can end it like Xenos, or you can fight for Alamigo. Your choice.
You watched a lot? Gotcha. You should play. It's free for the first 2 expansions. And do you have any art to sell today? No art to sell? Gotcha.
Seven hells. It's her. The Butcher.
The Butcher.
They're all surprised one of the bad guys is helping. Yeah, she used to be a bad guy, now she's a good guy. Oh, she's seeing all of their memories of the bad that the Empire did.
It's done. Take me back to my cell.
Take me back to my cell.
You are not forgiven.
You are not forgiven.
Not you. You I will never forgive.
Sheesh, that's harsh.
But I will thank you.
But I will thank you. There you go. It's something.
For standing against a primal and saving us from servitude. You have my thanks.
So she helped fight the primal god and he's thanking her for it. Good move, Lise. You made a good choice. That was unlike any battle I've ever seen. I'm not entirely sure how I survived it, to be honest. One wrong step and I would have lost my will to that fiend for the rest of my days, is a sobering thought. Lise is certainly living up to her own ideal. Not every commander would choose to enlist a former enemy's aid in battle. I think I shall make a habit of checking for primal influence before our meetings from now on. Well fought, Will, Arenvald. That was a near thing. Aye, our stand against the Kalyana would have been brief indeed had you not volunteered for guard duty. We'd be enthralled as surely our sentries were. We must have planned this far in advance. Security was my responsibility, and I know how dangerous primals can be. I should have... God, it's my fault. My stupid mistake. Nay, alas, we were all caught unawares. We will take this as a lesson, and watch our own more carefully in the future. Da da da. You can be sure that the lackeys who smuggled the crystals into the throne room weren't the only thralls in our ranks. The soldier who first spoke up in favor of the Kalyana keeping their weapons springs to mind. A primal servant is betrayed by his aura. If you mean to conduct an investigation, I can identify any others acting under Ffxiv's influence. Thanks, Y'shtola. We'd appreciate the help. Speaking of help, I almost fell over when Fordola turned up. What was she even doing there? I asked her to come. Well, that explains it then. It's sad, but Ragnfrid was right. Her victims will never forgive her for what she's done. But I don't think Fordola picked up that sword looking for forgiveness. She just wanted to fight for her country. If you say the world in which Fordola grew up is partly to blame for what she became, then as an Alamigan I feel responsible for improving that world. But we can't ignore what's happening right now. We have to show people a better way than vengeance, or we risk giving birth to a new generation of skulls. I know it's idealistic, but I want people to let go of their old grievances and make peace with each other. And I'll hold 1,000 meetings and talk till I'm blue in the face if that's what it takes. 'Tis a long and arduous path you have chosen, but one well worth walking. Rest assured that I will do what I can to help you reach your destination. Thank you, Alphino. The first step will be to get our representatives back in the throne room. They were a little shaken, but none of them seemed ready to run. We're all determined to finish what we started. I see you're not interrupted. I will see that you're not interrupted. You and the Scions are to stand down. Get some rest. You've earned it. Get some rest. Well-deserved respite, as they say.
A fine spot to contemplate the heavens. The meeting is over. The envoys have chosen to instate a government model on Ishgard's House of Commons, a ruling body of representatives elected by the people. It is a fair decision, and one which signals the end of my part in all this. But I would gaze upon Girabania's stars one last time before I leave.
I'm gonna use the bathroom. I gotta go to the bathroom for like the 3rd time this stream. 3rd time I had to use the bathroom. I had to go so often.
Cut the distractions, quit dragging your feet, and put all of our energy into stopping this. Because of these things.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Take step 2.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Final Fantasy. Good old Final Fantasy 14. Happy to be here. Got my coffee, just used the bathroom. I'm ready for another hour and a half before work. Time for work in an hour and a half. What the hell is she doing here?
Forget something? Your Grace, there was no word.
Raubon Aldin, you are hereby dismissed as General of the Immortal Flames and relieved of your seat on the Syndicate.
Wow, that's a big move.
But, Your Grace...
Raubon, I am no longer a child. Stay here in your homeland. Work with your brethren. Rebuild Alamigo.
Yeah, you're always just a teleport away.
To stand alone. I understand, but remember what happened.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I remember full well the consequences of my naivety. And thus did I consult at length with a most trusted advisor ere I embarked upon this course.
A most trusted advisor? And what of me? Am I no longer deserving of your confidence?
What trust can there be between us when you withhold the truth from me?
Aw, this is sweet.
Did you think me oblivious to the anguish in your eyes when you spoke of returning to Ul'dah? For years and years, we have trusted one another. Yet now you refuse to confess your heart's desire?
Aw, this is so sad.
I swore an oath
Have a good
to you
day.
that day on the sands. I pledged my sword.
And it has served me well. But in Pippin you have forged a new sword, as sharp and deadly as the blade you bequeathed him. I will show you a Sultana who can wield every weapon at her disposal, including Lolorito and his monetarist cronies.
There you go.
So follow your heart, please. You are home. You are free.
You're home, Raubon. Aw, he's gonna cry. Aw. He's gonna cry. There it is. He's crying. Aw. You're home, Raubon EX. You're home.
Smile for me, Raubon. I would have this parting be a joyous one.
You can always just teleport and visit. You could just teleport. You won't be gone for long.
It has been an honor to serve you and Ul'dah.
Tomorrow you will serve Alamigo and fight for the good of all Eorzea. Am I understood?
That's right.
Yes, Your Grace.
If you love them, let them go. If you love them, let them go! Ooh, shooting star. That was beautiful. That was so well crafted.
Armenvold is of age with Fordola, both of them born Alamegan. One never wanted his Garlean blood, and the other tried to become Garlean, but could never be. Similarly yet opposite, which would go some way to explaining the tension between them. I went to Fordola in her cell again. She did turn the tide of the battle after all, and I thought it only right to thank her. But she wouldn't listen, said she neither wanted nor needed my gratitude, and that I should go away. I don't know if I'll ever understand her. Bum 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 bum.
Thanks for shielding us from Lakshmi, you two. If you hadn't been there, the rest of us would be worshipping her by now.
You can't include me, Lise, but we both know who did most of the work. I could scarce keep track of the battle, let alone land a telling blow.
Is this one of the turn-based Final Fantasy games? No, this is action combat. It's real-time action combat. It's multiplayer, so you can play with other people. So if you want to try it out, it's Final Fantasy XIV. The first 200 hours are free. Because you can play up to the you can play the base game and the first expansion for free. You're kind to include me, Lise, but we both know who did most of the work. I could scarce keep track of the battle, let alone land a telling blow.
No shame in admitting it. The Warrior of Light has put far better men than me in the shade.
The Warrior of Light.
Did I mention that I encountered the Sultana in the palace? It would seem Her Grace has come to Girabania to oversee the final stages of her relocation project.
The Sultana's here.
She was in search of General Oldin, and I directed her to the rooftop garden. I do hope he was still there.
This guy right here in the white cloak, this is me. This guy's me. This is my guy. Red axe, white cloak. I don't know what you call this. The red robe. White hair, red highlights. This is my guy. I love how he looks. She was in search of General Alden, and I detected her to the rooftop garden. I do hope he was still there. Okay, gotcha.
Are you in the habit of gossiping about the affairs of royalty, Master Leveilleur?
She's like, what you talking shit about?
Certainly not, Your Grace.
I was merely informing my companions. She's funny.
It is, Alphino. 'Twas only a jest.
She's very funny. She's made lots of jokes this past few chapters of the story here.
But I must yield the floor to Rauban. He has an important announcement to make.
He's gonna stay home. He's gonna help build the new place.
As of yesternight, I have been relieved of my post in the Immortal Flames and the Syndicate both.
Ooh. New position.
I shall be assuming my father's duties. And may I say that Tizona has never felt heavier upon my back.
Tizona? I don't know what that is. Na 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 na.
'Twould seem I am in need of employment. Mayhap one of my old acquaintances can introduce me to a mercenary company or some such.
Huh.
You may be getting on in years, Father, but you'd struggle to find a band of sellswords who wouldn't snap your hand off. Your remaining hand.
Yes, the bull of Alamigo need not be put out to pasture just yet.
Your Grace has developed a wicked edge to her humor, and you, Pippin, would do well not to laugh when the future may hold the same for you.
Huh.
So, does this mean you're staying?
Aye. That seems to be the way of it. I would be glad to aid you in rebuilding our nation. if you'll have me.
Rebuild the nation, Raoban. Make your homeland a great place.
Welcome home, Raoban.
Welcome home. He gets to stay in the new country and help build up the country. That's what he wanted. Shake hands. Okay, I think we got the point
that was
here.
Unexpected, though you seem distinctly unsurprised. Either you are more astute than I give you credit for, or I'm losing my touch. In any event, one thing is certain. Alamigo will rejoice at the homecoming of her dearest son.
There you go. The people are happy to have him. Okay, and then we're gonna fade into the sky. Ba 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 ba. I just want to get on to the next quest now. Alize will be eager to hear of recent events, so I shall join you if you've no objections. And welcome the company. Why don't you come along through the reaches, well, once you've said your farewells to Nanamo and the others. Let's talk to these people. Upon completion of this quest, you will be able to access the palace's rooftop gardens by speaking to the royal menagerie attendant. Why would I ever want to go there? I must assume father's responsibilities without delay, lest our rivals, both inside and outside Ul'dah, treat his dismissal as a window of opportunity. Rest assured they will find Tizona's edge just as sharp in my hands. Oh, Tizona's the name of the sword. That's what that is. I have asked enough of you, Will. My only words for you now are those of gratitude. It seems my road has come full circle. I appreciate the support you showed for my earlier decision, overruled though I was. Very well. Let's move on to the next place. I'm gonna teleport to Rauger's Reach. Teleport. Bum ba dum bum bum bum. Jump on my mount here. Where are you from, Raton? Raton? Here we are again. Alphino has regaled me with a thrilling tale of hidden treasure troves, mid-meeting betrayals, unlikely alliances and joyous homecomings. It would seem I missed everything. I was patrolling the palace grounds with Thancred and Nishola when we heard the report of a primal in the throne room. I honestly doubted my own ears. As others have said, we were lucky to have our Echo-blessed champions nearby this time, but we'll need to keep a closer eye on the Kalyana. You can say that again. This whole episode has reminded me just how far apart our kinds still are. It looks like centuries of fear and mistrust really can't be washed away in a day, but someone has to make an effort at reconciliation if these conflicts are ever going to end. Naturally, a lot of people are crying out for vengeance, but I've been doing my best to calm things down. Violent reprisals will only lead to more summonings. Indeed, violence will ever beget violence, as the Empire has learned to its cost in recent times. In any case, summoning Lakshmi was the Broodmother's doing, and whoever replaces her might not be so keen on the idea. We'll just have to watch and wait. Which isn't to say we won't be plotting the safety of our allies in the Vera and M tribes first. I plan to have resistance scouts keep track of the Kalyana's movements at all times. My parents will be relieved to hear that. What are your plans for the rest of the resistance army out of interest? Are we to prepare for Imperial counterattacks? That would be a question for the Resistance's newest recruit, a military commander with far more experience than me. What? The Bull of Alamigo? We call it an army, but the Resistance is really a collection of smaller independent groups. And when Conrad passed his command on to me, that authority only extended to the freedom fighters based in Relger's Reach. He just happened to be serving as the Resistance spokesman at the time, and he needed someone to take over the role while everything was in disarray. But that time has passed. When I speak with the other leaders about reforming the army under the new government, I'll be nominating Raubon as the overall commander of our forces. He has more experience than the rest of us put together, and we stand to learn a lot from him. Indeed, he is in all respects the ideal choice. Assuming he accepts the post, Ala Mhigo will have added a formidable weapon to its arsenal. And given the progress of Nanamo's resettlement initiative, I see great cause for hope. The seeds which we so carefully sowed have begun to quicken, my friends. I like that. We tend to our promises and watch as Ala Mhigo blooms. I do give thanks to the kami that my makeshift raft withstood the fury of the seas. But their generosity ended. Without coins in our pockets for new attire, we are doomed to look like so much jetsam. Oh, woe betide the poor man in the city of rich merchants. This is weird. These dango are delicious. Will you have one? Huh? More sweetbreads. I surrendered my blade to secure what few coins we have. So he sold his sword for money, and she's spending it on sweets. Tis like talking to a child. Why fate saddled me with this burden I shall never know, but I am alive, and I must return to my master's side. Oh, he's got a head pain of some sort, headache. Come, Suyu. We shall find a ship to carry us across the Ruby Sea. They're cute together. I like them. Meanwhile, in the Imperial Palace. Oh dear. Have you read the reports? First Doma, then Ala Mhigo, and Lord Xenos put to the sword. Do not believe everything you read. I hear the Viceroy was merely wounded, and that he has already returned to the capital. Naturally, the savages beat their chests and boast loudly of taking his head regardless. Hey, Lord Xenos lives? Deplorable that our own officers should be fooled by Eorzean misinformation. Small wonder the provinces have begun rising up in rebellion. We must prepare an official and above all accurate announcement to quell these pernicious rumors. They would wage war with empty words. Let them produce the Viceroy's remains then. We shall soon put the lie to their claims. Rumors that Xenos is alive. What's this? Who's that? Who's this here? Nani kore? More heroes. Okay, so I'm gonna, let's see here. I have just over an hour left, which is quite nice. It's nice having an hour left. But I'm gonna take a short break. I will throw up a BRB right here. And I will be back in a few. Alright, let's see. What now? I am back, as it were. However,
this local program.
I think I might stop here. I'm kind of burned out on questing for the moment, and there's always tomorrow. So, yeah, we've been streaming for 2.5 hours. I think that's enough. Alright, thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow.